Welcome to Yoga Santa Barbara Style. This program showcases Santa Barbara area yoga teachers by presenting a brief interview along with a 25-minute practice featuring the guest instructor. Today, our guest will be Natalie Sampila. Natalie is from Canada but has lived here for some time. She currently teaches at Source Yoga and the Santa Barbara Yoga Center. My name is Ray Kolbe, and I'm the host of Yoga Santa Barbara Style. I've been practicing yoga for a number of years, and I'm here to share my passion for yoga with you. We've got a great show for you today. In addition to our yoga sequence and interview, I'll present the diaphragmatic breathing technique, and we'll break down the pose Tadasana. Sara Remick will fill us in on the recent controversy regarding Bikram and his conflict with other yoga philosophies and teachers. And she'll give us some yummy food for thought, today highlighting sun tea. So let's get right to it. Here's Sara with Yoga News.
Thank you, Ray. A few weeks ago, LA Weekly ran an article entitled "Bikram Choudhury Battles for Control of the Hot Yoga Tradition He Invented." I am so excited that this article came out because this is a topic I've been wanting to bring up for a while. Before I go any further, I would like to state that any opinions expressed herein are not that of the TV station nor this show. There's a Bikram studio here in Santa Barbara that is well loved, and the owner is a wonderful woman whom I respect very much. That being said, I hope to shed some light on the current controversy within the yoga community regarding Bikram yoga. The Bikram method of yoga is a series of 26 postures and 2 breathing sequences practiced for 90 minutes in a climate-controlled environment where the room is heated to 105 degrees. Despite the fact that yoga is a centuries-old tradition, Bikram Choudhury was able to copyright his particular version, the order of the poses, etc., under the same protections afforded choreographers. Now think about that for a minute. Ancient, traditional knowledge, postures of the body, being patented so that no one may teach or practice them without copyright infringement. Choudhury came from Calcutta to Los Angeles and began teaching his hot yoga in the 1970s. He published a book in 1978 preaching that his hot yoga sessions could heal all kinds of ailments, from knee injuries to arthritis. Hollywood ate up his hardcore yoga and his intentions of transforming lives. He's been a guest on many TV shows like The Tonight Show and 60 Minutes. He had 3 different presidents as clients: Nixon, Reagan, and Clinton, as well as George Harrison, Charlie Sheen, and Jennifer Aniston. The article in LA Weekly is ripe with quotes from Mr. Bikram, most of which I think speak for themselves in terms of how Choudhury views himself and his position in the yoga realm and the world. The article says that he boasted to a Boston audience this summer, "Lady Gaga listens to me. Her mantra is only one word, Bikram, because Bikram makes her what she is today. It works." Today, there are 600 studios worldwide, more than 330 studios in America, and 86 Bikram studios just in California. Despite his move to LA in the 70s, it wasn't until 1994 that he began training new teachers in his method of yoga. At that time, there were only 4 Bikram studios in the world, all of them in the US. Choudhury was still teaching teachers one-on-one, as was the traditional method in India, but he soon began teaching larger and larger numbers of people in a group, and eventually he had up to 400 people in one session. Today, those courses cost almost $11,000 per student. As he began to train more and more students, he decided to copyright his method. If anyone wanted to teach his style of hot yoga, that person had to sign a franchise agreement, with Choudhury receiving the required fees. Over the years, several former students have attempted to set up studios of their own, unaffiliated with Bikram, but still holding some similar ideas, like heating the room, for example. Choudhury successfully sued a few of them, but none of those situations were anything near as big, as lengthy, or as public as the current battle Choudhury has taken on with his former favorite student, Greg Gamuccio. But since 2006, Gamuccio has distanced himself from Bikram and opened his own chain of competing studios called Yoga to the People. During the time that Greg spent away from Bikram, he began a friendship with John McAfee, and he resonated with McAfee's Kriya Yoga and its focus on the spine. He also looked to Brian Kest, who holds donation power-based yoga classes in Santa Monica and really believes that yoga should be accessible to everyone. Gumuccio charges only $8 for a class and has 1 day a week with donation-based classes. Gumuccio's mission statement: there will be no right answers, no glorified teachers, no ego, no script, no pedestals, no "you're not good enough" or "rich enough." This is yoga for everyone. In September, Choudhury sued Greg Gumuccio for copyright and trademark infringement, unfair business practices, and breach of contract. I love the analogy that LA Weekly gives to this feud between these two charismatic leaders. Much like a warring religious sects, they practice nearly the exact same form of yoga, but speak slightly different dialects. As it stands now, for the past 9 months, the validity of Choudhury's copyright has been called into question many times over, most recently by the U.S. Copyright Office itself. Various yoga practices belong to the long tradition of Indian culture, but the specific arrangement of the poses can be organized in any way, and thus, according to the Copyright Office, can potentially be owned by an individual. This I don't personally really agree with, but anyway, as of June 22nd, the Copyright Office announced that if yoga postures did indeed improve health, they could not be copyrighted. They also added that any previous yoga copyrights were issued in error. So now it's not just a question of whether Gumuccio violated a copyright, but whether Choudhury's copyright is even valid at all. However, the Federal Government Office of Copyright states that they have no plans to reevaluate the copyrights to yoga previously issued. So, in a not-so-surprising twist, government has said that they probably messed up, but they're probably not going to do anything about it. So, the two yogis with opposing beliefs will have to wait for a judge to determine their fate sometime next year. So what do you think of all this? Should ancient traditional knowledge be able to be patented? Should a man who claims to be a yogi of the yogic mind and practice so ardently go after another man who wants to share the same philosophies with the world? Is this feud about money? Is it about ego? Should these kind of arguments even be a part of something that many still consider sacred and far removed from money and celebrity status? These are all very interesting things to think about. I'm going to go ponder them on my mat, outside, where it's a breezy 75 degrees, and I can do the poses I choose in any order I choose them, the way I like to practice my yoga.
We all know that breathing is fundamental to life. But breathing is so much more than simply oxygenating our blood. There are many reasons to do breathwork. I'll share a few before moving on to the demonstration. By using specific breathing exercises, we can transition our nervous system from the stress-induced sympathetic to the restful, healing state of the parasympathetic nervous system. This has the effect of shedding stress. And in my demonstration, I'm going to show you how to shed the stress that our bodies hold. But that's not the only reason to perform breathing exercises. There's the calming influence on the mind, which is one of the primary reasons that breathing exercises were introduced into the yoga philosophy. And there's more. As an avid skier myself, I have found breathing exercises to improve my breathing ability while skiing by reducing the effect of the altitude, as well as transforming my mental and emotional attitude. Now that I've given you several reasons to do breathwork, it's time to describe and demonstrate a breathing exercise for you. This one is called diaphragmatic breathing. It may also be referred to as abdominal, belly, deep breathing, or three-part breathing. Three-part breathing refers to the 3 phases of the inhalation. In the first phase, you inhale into your belly as though there were a balloon in your belly, letting it expand to its fullest. Then allow the air to migrate up to the rib cage, expanding the intercostal muscles. Then finally, up to the upper chest and shoulders. Pause at the top, holding your breath briefly and easily. Then begin to exhale very slowly. Try to lengthen and slow down the exhalation. Then, as you reach the bottom of your breath, tighten your abs, force any remaining air out of your body, and pause briefly at the bottom of your breath. Then begin again. That's it. But remember, no stress or pressure associated with this activity. Allow it to slow down and bring calmness to your body, your mind, and your life. And now allow me to demonstrate briefly. Inhaling into the belly, rib cage, upper chest, pausing, and then exhale completely. And when you get to the bottom, tighten your abs, force any remaining air out, and pause. If you begin a regular practice of diaphragmatic breathing, then during the day, if you begin to feel stressed out, simply take in 3 deep diaphragmatic breaths. But when you exhale, let out an audible sigh, not concerned about the length of the exhale. And I'll demonstrate. Breathe in. And exhale. And I recommend doing this diaphragmatic breath work every day. I use it to wake up in the morning. Before I get out of bed, I do 25 diaphragmatic breaths. Choose the time that's right for you and give yourself 10 to 15 minutes a day to practice breathing techniques. It will improve your yoga and your life. In good health and well-being, namaste. Today our guest is Natalie Sampila. She teaches at Source Yoga Studio here in Santa Barbara and also at the Santa Barbara Yoga Center. Welcome, Natalie. How are you?
Thank you, Ray. I'm very good.
Oh, good. Nice to see you.
You too.
Honored to have you here with us today.
It's definitely a pleasure.
And Natalie, what do you consider to be the greatest benefits of yoga?
Let's see, the greatest benefits of yoga. I think for me, honestly, is first that not looking at yoga as an exercise or just something that you do. It's really taking it in as creating it as a lifestyle, part of your life, to really balance the flow of the chaos that we all live through. We all have hectic days, we all have great days, and I think it really connected with me because I was working in the bars and had such a volatile evening job that yoga became that space that would ground me. And even now, as I have a 2.5-year-old and I'm still working in a bar to make money, my yoga is that piece that I come to that reminds me I can walk through the day. And even in those really turbulent times, I have the practice within me. I'm connected to my body at a cellular level. This is the vehicle I take through life, and yoga really allows you to reconnect to it.
Natalie, what do you consider to be the greatest risks associated with yoga?
Not doing it, no. There's risks with everything. I mean, like, too much of any good thing can be a bad thing. So I try not to think about the risk, but if on a teacher standpoint, if I was to really, things that would worry about in a class, I would say if students came in and it was their first time and they were really moving from a place in their head as opposed to their body, so not having that body awareness, I would definitely try to connect to them verbally, not so much hands-on, because they need to start to feel what's going on in their body. But especially if we were in a stronger class and working through inversions and arm balances, those are the people that want to go beyond that, what they're maybe not normally comfortable with. And instead of holding them back, I would probably try to use my vocabulary to slow them down at least, so they start to feel the intention in the body, as opposed to I need to be in this shape because it's been told that I have to be in that shape. So I think that's where people mainly get hurt, and also coming out of poses too fast is where we get our injuries, because they've done their pose, they're excited, and it's like flop out. And so I really try to teach going in, it's just as important as how you come out. So coming out through that progression, it really slows people down, and instead of kind of rushing through, they're in their body, which is important.
Why do you teach yoga?
I was always really shy as a child. And honestly, the first I think working in the service industry really helps you break out of those shells, because you're working for money, and if you're not friendly, you don't get tips. Right?
Yeah.
So yoga was always something that balanced me out. So I had that and I had my yoga, and it just seemed natural. I actually didn't try to teach it. I was working at the George Page Youth Center, and I was working with cardiac patients in the training facility. I went for physical fitness and training in college. And so I was working there, and they asked me to do a yoga class for the seniors. And it was just one of those challenges that was put in front of me that I was scared shitless, pardon my French. You might have to bleep that out, I apologize. But it was something that I felt was really important for me to face, and I did it. And the fear was grand, but it didn't outweigh the feeling of joy afterwards, that like, okay, I did it, I made it through, I felt good, they feel good. So, I mean, even to this day, there's still fears in front of a class, but it's work. It's just like a yoga practice. Like there's challenge, 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 and then you lie down in Shavasana and you're like, now I know. Now I know why I'm here, and that's what just keeps carrying me, and so that's why I teach yoga.
And at that point, had you taken teacher training?
Yes. I had just finished my first teacher training at the Santa Barbara Yoga Center with Eric Schiffman and Lisa Walford, and I did my philosophy with Scott Blossom. So yeah, that was, I think, in 2000. They were kind of happening symbiotically. So it was just like, wow, because I didn't take the teacher training to teach. I was one of those students who just needed to know why I was doing these poses in certain ways and why we were breathing that. I just wanted that information. But it just kind of folded very naturally into that next stage. And then I was like hooked. I just wanted to do more trainings, which I did, lots. And still to this day, I do lots of trainings. So, and now I'm in the process, these past 2 years, I've been going to get my 500-hour apprenticeship with Shiva Ray. So I'm about 50 hours away from that, which is exciting. Yes.
Exciting. That is exciting. Besides yoga, what are your favorite activities?
I like to hike at Santa Barbara. I like hanging out at the beach. Always love going dancing. Movement has always been a part of my life. I paint in my free time, which is not much anymore with the 2.5-year-old. So I watch her paint, or we'll get out the body paint, and then it's just me watching her paint. But yeah, and I just like hanging out with my family.
Well, Santa Barbara's a great place to do that.
It is.
Yeah. Who have been your favorite teachers and why?
Right now, I have to say Shiva Ray is my goddess. She opened up a whole new door, and I had been introduced to her about a decade ago, but I don't think I was ready for her. And now I think she's definitely, if you're gonna put like the favorite, she's the one who gives me the most wisdom in my life and in my practice and in a whole. I always loved Eric Schiffman, Lisa Walford, local teachers. Heather Tiddens has been, one of my gurus for years. I definitely go for her for stability and strength, and she's still someone I love to visit in town. Yeah.
What do you think about the explosion of yoga in popular culture?
It has been an explosion,
Really?
hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's great. Well, there's two folds to everything, right? It's wonderful because it's introducing it to people, right? And it's giving us opportunities as teachers and to really share what a great gift the practice is, and how it's not just the practice on the mat, but it folds over into other things that we do within life, and we really need that in our society today. On the other hand, you're losing the connection to like a guru and that kind of training that really, really makes such a difference in the body at a cellular level. But then there's like, okay, well, you'd rather do it than not do it at all. So there's that, and people are getting injured and they're saying, well, yoga's not safe and da-da-da-da-da. And it's not necessarily that yoga's not safe. It's how we practice it that might not be safe. So that's where the explosion can sometimes become a detriment. But I think it's good that the information is getting out there and it's not looked at some wonky thing that you do in an ashram only, which is a beautiful place to do it. But it can really be a part of your life. It doesn't have to be your religion. It's part of living life wholly.
And what excites you about yoga?
I think what excites me about yoga is that there's no end. Right? There's no plateau.
There's no black belt.
No, yeah, there is. I'm sure there's some people out there that are like levitating and taking one breath every hour and so forth. But for me, I know the journey is infinite. And I think that's the exciting part, that I know there's always going to be space for me to grow. Like I'm pregnant right now, and so I'm transitioning through a new part of my life. When I come out on the end of this, my body is not going to be the same. So I get to create this relationship again with this new body that I have with the baby and my other child. So it's always adapting to my life, and I'm always adapting to the practice. So that's the exciting part. It's not like, okay, you're good, you've got your BMI index. No, there's always going to be an evolution to it. It's been around for 5,000 years, and it ain't going nowhere. So,
well, Natalie, thank you so much for coming on to our show
thank
today.
you anytime. It's been such a pleasure and a gift. I'm so excited for the show.
And can people look you up on the internet? Is there a website?
Again, my email is Natalie, Natalie .Sampila, Sampila, like Sampla Plata, @gmail.com. And my website is Better Days Yoga. So days with an S, betterdays.com. Yeah. So, and yeah, you can come to visit me at Source or Santa Barbara Yoga Center.
Well, thank you so much. I'll do that.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Namaste.
Namaste.
Soles of the feet together. So not in your regular Baddha Konasana. Right? Take a little more width. Give yourself a little more space. Take a nice deep inhale. Shoulders draw up by the ears. Exhale through the mouth. Right? All of the senses are drawing in. Just welcome yourself to the mat 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Good, 1 more time. And exhale, let everything out. Good. We'll start by just leaning to the left. Lengthen the inner thigh. Right? So the palm just kind of massages the inner thigh towards the knee. Feel the opening in the side body. Good. Come back to center. And switch. Lengthen. Good. And then from here, you'll grab your shins. The heart goes forward on the inhale. Right? The tendency is the chin wants to tilt up, and we lose all this space in the back of the neck. Keep the back of the neck long and the heart opening up. Shoulders release. As you exhale, then round back. Just lean into the low back. The spine opens. Spread the toes to keep the energy through the legs and start to follow the pulse of the breath. So happy solstice. Happy new moon. It is a good time for transformation and celebration, as you will see in Santa Barbara this weekend. So starting to drink in that fluid movement. Okay? And once you feel the body start to open up with the breath, we let go of the alignment. And you get to move however you would like, right? So you can start to do figure 8s in the body. Or nice big circles, maybe little circles. So you're just looking for sensation. If you hit a sweet spot, you maybe take an extra breath. Right? It's reintroducing yourself to the sensation in your body. Now we get to add the vibration. So keeping the movement, we'll open with 3 ohms. Take a nice deep inhale. Yes, clear your throats, it's good. breath brings the spine nice and upright. And come to the heart. So Padra Mudra, it's like Anjali Mudra, but you cup your hands a little bit, like you're making a little pod. Okay? Like I said, it is a 6-month cycle. So we just take a moment and reflect where we started this year. The journey we've been on, good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, right? It's all part of the journey. And take a deep inhale into the heart. Honor it by letting it go. And then we sit in this moment, just allowing, without the intellectual mind interrupting, the body to start to prepare for the 6 months ahead of us. Right? And honoring the journey ahead. Any seeds that would like to be planted, here is a perfect space for that to happen. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands cover the heart. Good. Inhale, the hands release out to the side. Open up the side body. Take a nice, sweet forward fold. So the toes flex apart. That energizes the legs and supports the knees. And then you let the head relax. Tailbone roots down. And it's like the hands become, or the breath becomes hands to massage. And come to your hands and knees into table. Right, so if you need a blanket to support your knees, please do. Okay. We don't call them props, they're vitamins. They support the practice. Okay. Feel table, feel the spine in neutral. Okay. Don't rush for action. Okay. Spread the fingers, otherwise you can make fists. Okay. And the thumbs are facing forward. If you feel pressure in the wrists, start to press down through the pads of the fingertips. And so you take a little bit of weight out of the wrists. And then on an inhale, the heart will come forward. As you exhale, round the spine. Good. Just 2 more. Inhale. So a little deeper of a stretch into the nervous system. Exhale, round. Cat-cow. The breath takes you through the movement. Celebrating the pulse of the body. Last one. Inhale. As you exhale, big toes come together. Sit back into child's pose. Reach the arms forward and the forehead down. If that doesn't work for the shoulders, you bring the hands underneath the forehead and create a pillow. Wisdom pose. Option at any time. Okay, take a nice deep inhale here. Hips releasing back. Good. One more breath. Good. And then look forward. Pull your heart forward. Lift it. Good. So lift the heart, so you're in that position. Exhale, curl the toes under. Shift back onto the heels, the head releases. Good. Come forward. Pull the heart between the arms. You feel that nice openness in the lumbar. Exhale, shift back. Good. One more, just like that. Inhale. Heart lifts. This time, exhale. Tailbone starts to lift up to the sky. Keep your knees super bent. We're just in the spine right now. Okay? So the fingers spread, the thumb and the index finger push. Outer biceps wrap by the ears and start to melt your heart back towards your legs. The neck completely relaxes. Take 3 breaths. Okay? So the quadriceps might be shaking a little bit. That's good. That means energy's moving. But keep the knees bent. Right? Stay in the spine. Right leg goes back, ball of the foot presses into the mat. You're gonna pulse. Okay? So just press the heel as though you're pressing it back into the wall, forward, back into the wall. Good. Okay, here you go. Send all the weight back into that right heel. Tailbone draws under. Navel lifts. Maybe you just stay here and breathe, half plank. Bonus points, it's Friday, right? Celebrate your energy, lift the left knee. So just an inch or two, heart and the gaze go forward, just a couple inches. Press the right heel back. Okay. Smile at the intensity. It's good. Good, knee comes down. Right leg lifts from the inner thigh. Inhale, pull the right knee in. Exhale, lengthen it straight back, get long. Yeah. Feel that stability, it looks beautiful. Yeah. Now we open. So the left hand comes down, slide it to the middle. Turn the right toes out and bring the foot down. Okay. You're gonna press that right foot down. Before you go up, make sure the left wrist is under the shoulder. And tailbone draws under. And open to the sky. Okay. Navel draws back. And then if you want to play and find a little more freedom, the right arm starts to reach towards the middle of the room. It becomes an extension of that back leg. And the heart is open. The breath is really present here. You're exercising the lungs. Good, last breath. And release. Hand comes down. You get to sit and absorb in child's pose. Okay. As you inhale, the tailbone tilts up. As you exhale, the heels meld back, the thighs press back. They don't have to touch. Okay. Let the neck relax. Take a really nice deep inhale. Exhale everything out that serves no purpose anymore. Good. All right. We're already looking back at the feet, so let's go that way. You're gonna walk the hands back to meet the feet. Bend the knees for support. Grab the opposite elbows. Head and neck hangs. Just nod your head, yes, no. No tension. And then you can start to straighten the right leg and twist slightly to the right. You feel that right hip open. Bending the right knee back in line with the left. Shift to the other way. Okay, so we're twisting on the exhale. Releasing the arms, head completely hangs. Knees both nicely bent. One vertebrae at a time. Roll on, up. Shoulders come up, creating this platform for the head to be supported. And we'll continue, shoulder rolls. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, good. Whole arms. Inhale. Exhale, elbows bend, massage the spine. And navel draws back. My navel's not a good example. I've got too much going on in there right now. Good. Ready? Last one, exhale. So now the collarbones are spread, tailbone draws in. Hands bring this ball of energy to the heart. Close the eyes, bow the head. Take a breath in Tadasana. So feeling the dunda. Dunda means staff, so from the crown of the head to the floor. And it is along the spine, your power center, right? The stability. It's like this beautiful beam that's holding up the middle of the room. We always want to support that. So the hands are going to come to the low back. Option one, fists to the sacrum, sorry. You're going to draw the tailbone down. Move this a little bit. Right, if the wrists are open, the palms. Feel the back bend. Exhale. Okay, to your knees. Half dog. Right? So the hips stay over the knees. The heart goes out. We're gonna pulse here. Inhale, lift the heart away from the floor. Chin draws into the chest. Exhale, heart to the floor, look across. Inhale. Buoyant in the shoulders. Exhale. Looking for mobility in the spine. One more. Exhale. Good. Elbows come to the mat. You're going to come all the way out into Sphinx. Do as I say, not as I do. Elbows underneath the shoulders. I got a baby in my belly. I can't squish it. It needs room. Right? So feel Sphinx. So you're pulling the floor back towards your chest. Press the tops of the feet into the mat and feel a sense of the inner thighs rolling down. Okay? Just for this variation. No strain in the neck. Take one more breath. Good. Exhale, lower the chest. Hands come under the shoulders. Inhale, baby cobra. Just the heart comes off the mat. Shoulders draw back. All the work is in the spine. Yeah. Exhale, low. Baby cobra might be perfect for you today. You stay there. Otherwise, full cobra. Shoulders back. Root into the earth with the hands. Okay? Make space through the chest. Feet press and radiate back. Good. Exhale, down dog. Good job. If down dog does not feel like that home base, you can take half dog or child's pose. Right? We want to be able to collect our energy in this space. Okay? Big toes are going to come together. Is your core work. Okay? The right leg lifts from the inner right thigh, so we're keeping it square. Look forward. Take an inhale. End of your exhale, pull the right knee in, lift high onto the left toes, step it forward, right? If you get the stop short, that's fine, it's part of the practice. Use your right hand to come forward. Good, back knee comes down. Inhale, lift. Anjanasana, low lunge. Find the stability in the earth. Right, so the feet have to really be connected. It's the foundation. Right? We build from the floor up. Good. Open up the heart. Exhale. Hands come down to the earth. Right? So you're on your fingertips here. Right? Spider fingers. Curl your left toes under. Nothing changes in your hips. Press your left heel into an imaginary wall behind you, lifting the knee. Bring it back down. Press. Release. Press. Okay, you stay with this movement. Left hand. Oh, okay. Ta-da! Strong back leg. Good. You could be here forever because you have the power. Good. Release. Back knee comes down. You get to release that right thigh. Ardha Hanuman. So this, if your fingers are really far away from the floor, let's grab one of your blocks. But otherwise, it's all good. It's not about getting down there, it's about getting long, right? The dunda in the spine. Pressing through the right big toe. Take one more breath. Good. You get to shift forward. We're going to the left. So we're going to parallel the feet to the left. All right, hands start underneath the shoulders. Right, I just want you to shift back and forth. Okay. Whatever happens, you let it flow through you. Okay? And then you can look up at your hands. You can start to walk up. But this time, the feet come to the outside. Malasana, so For the lovelies with tight ankles, you give yourself a little support. Elbows to the inside, palms together. Lift the heart. Yes. Bow the head. Breathe into the sacrum. Okay, so we're going to come into a little bit of a twist. Your right hand is going to tuck, so you're going to try to get that shoulder nice and deep. Press the palm into the earth gently. Inhale. Open up that left arm. Nice. Slowly come down. Switch, tucking the shoulder in so you can really get a sense of the hip opening. Beautiful, Chris. And we'll do 2 more each side. You just go with your breath, right? This is your practice. I am just your river guide. Here we go, last round. Variation number 1. Variation number 2. Straighten your right leg. Straighten your left leg. Lengthen out. Lift back up. That gets you every time. Lengthen out. Lift back out. This is where the lazy river starts to go through the rapids. Lazy river, rapids. Good. And I'd like you just to take an easy twist here. Come on up to the other side. So the hand that is reaching out to the opposite side of the knees comes all the way over to the side of the knees. So you're just lying on your side in a fetal position. So I'd like you to take your blanket and open it up like it's another mat. So we're giving ourselves a little more support. Good. And then the bolster is going to come in the middle. So I'd like you to come left hip to the bolster. Right. So this is the key. We've done this many times. Zipper side down, right? So no zippers digging into you. And I want you to have the hip all the way at the left edge so that when you look behind you, there's tons of bolster. The left arm is going to come up. So lean. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, you're going to lengthen out over the bolster. Lay your head down onto your left arm. And the right arm's just going to rest onto the hip for a moment. Inhale, very gently lift the hips. Press the bolster forward so it's underneath your sacrum. Okay, supporting the sacrum. Oh, yeah. And then you can come to Supta Baddha Konasana, or you can lengthen the legs out. Big, easy, beautiful breaths. Just feeling constrictions being undone. And you start to feel it at a physical level. Stuff starts to unwind at a mental level. And then you can stretch out. He's stretching too. Knees come in. You're going to roll to your left side. 1, because it's different. So we can recondition the brain to go a different way than all the habits that we even create in the practice. 2, it's the lunar side of our body. So as we come into these solar beautiful days, which we have today, we want to balance out that heat. And then gently, slowly push yourself away from the earth. Sit up. Kind of coming full circle in a different space. Just take a few breaths and just notice your being, your bhava, right? Here. Once again, not from the mind, from the heart. Okay? Let the heart be the boss. Let the heart lead you. And then we'll close with an Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The last Shanti, we open the arms into Prana Mudra to share the energy. Take a nice deep inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May you walk in celebration through the next cycle. Grace and gratitude. Namaste. Happy fighting.
And now it's time to break down the pose Tadasana. Come to standing. For this pose, your feet may be together, hips width apart, or anywhere in between. The important aspect of where your feet are is that your second toe be aligned with the center of your heel. Once you have that alignment, lift your toes up off the mat, spread them wide, and press them back down. So as you press down strongly in the four corners, lift the three sides of your feet. Lift the inner arches. Firm the outer ankles in and up. Lift the kneecaps by engaging the quadriceps to straighten the legs. Point the center of the thigh directly forward. Press the thigh bones back. Release the inner thighs back gently to broaden across the lower back. Lift the inner thighs as if holding something between them and pulling up. Engage the back of the thigh. Release inner thighs back. Lift the frontal hip bones as you release the flesh of the buttocks softly down. Release the tailbone down. Firm the side hips. Align pelvis in an upright position, neither spilling forward nor back. Align frontal hip bones equidistant from the floor, as well as equidistant from the wall in front of you. Lengthen four sides of the torso equally. Maintain the natural curves of the spine. Draw the abdomen gently in and up. Soften front ribs. Lift the back ribs, lengthening the back ribs. Lift the sternum away from the navel as you soften the front ribs. Spread the collarbones. Align the head of the upper arm with the side body. Widen shoulder blades apart. Soften the muscles around the trapezius away from the neck. Lift or press the shoulder blades into the chest. Straighten the arms by firming the triceps. Draw the upper arm bone back in line with the side body. Externally rotate the upper arm to maintain openness across the chest. Spin the inner upper arm toward the outer upper arm. Lengthen all four sides of the neck evenly. Keep the chin level with the floor. Maintain the natural curve of the neck. Relax the facial muscles. Enjoy the balance of the pose. See if you can't bring that balance to all of the poses in your practice, and even off your mat into your life.
Welcome to Food for Thought. Nothing says summer like a sun-brewed iced tea in a tall glass on a hot afternoon, maybe after a beach day or a long hike. But you don't have to use boring old packets with questionable ingredients. You can make your own sun-brewed tea with fresh herbs from your garden, or even harvest what grows wild around town. Mint, lavender, and rosemary are just a few of the more common herbs that grow wild all over Santa Barbara. The low heat method works best with the tender leaves or flowers of a plant like lavender or chamomile. Roots and stems like ginger or chicory, they're tougher and more dense, so they usually need to be heated to have access to all the healing properties. Now for fresh sun tea, all you have to do is place the fresh herbs in a glass jar. I have here some mint. Oh, I love mint. And this is just fresh mint out of the garden. I'm not even going to pull the leaves off the little stems. I'm just going to throw them right in here. And I have this fresh lavender. I have a couple different kinds of lavender here. And you can use dried or fresh herbs. Lavender is very calming and it's this beautiful purple color. My nasturtiums are all dead in my yard, but I wanted to bring nasturtiums because you can add those in at the end and they're beautiful. They're an edible flower and they make the whole tea look really pretty. Passion flower also is another one that's really beautiful for a visual in your sun tea. But so you put your herbs in the jar, and then you just add some water. Cover your jar with the lid and let it sit in the sun for 2 or 3 hours. The longer it sits, the stronger the flavor. Well, I'm not one for measuring my herbs, so I just throw in whatever feels right. But for those of you who prefer measurement, you can use 2 ounces of herb for 1 gallon of water, or 1 teaspoon of herb per cup of water. So go make some sun tea and enjoy it outside. I'm Sara Remick, and this has been Food for Thought for Yoga, Santa Barbara style. In vibrant health, namaste.
Meditation. Why do it? The mind is an incredibly powerful aspect of our being. When the mind is directed, it can accomplish great and wondrous things. When the mind is allowed to follow random thoughts, it can waste an incredible amount of time and energy. We've all gone down the what-if train of thought. While this might be a useful brainstorming tool, it's not that great for coping with social situations. It can actually add stress to your life and damage your health, rather than the powerful good that can be accomplished with the control of the mind, especially when coming from a position of love. But to control the mind requires discipline and practice. I'll present one of the basic meditation techniques along with some visualization aids. But before we begin, I always like to prepare for meditation by experiencing gratitude. Begin to think of the many things you have to be grateful for. Once you've thought of some of the things you're grateful for, just sit in that state for a few moments. Whether you're grateful for friends, family, sunshine, to be able to live in Santa Barbara, something I'm continually grateful for, or for just waking up this morning or being able to take that next breath. Allow yourself to be immersed in the state of gratitude. Begin to simply cultivate that feeling of gratitude. And as you cultivate the sense of gratitude, allow yourself to be grateful for the earth, the sky, for everything and for nothing. This isn't about things, it's about awareness and sensation. Really feel the gratitude. Now let's begin our meditation. This is called the 4-count meditation. Begin by taking a deep breath. Then exhaling fully. And as you get to the bottom of your breath, tighten the abs, force any remaining air out. And with each breath, say to yourself the next number on the exhale. So, begin by inhaling, then exhale 1. Inhale, exhale 2. Inhale, exhale 3. Inhale, exhale 4. Continuing with that pattern, counting from 1 to 4. And if you should forget where you are, then start again at 1. Many thoughts and emotions may arise as you attempt this meditation. It's important not to follow these thoughts. Think of your mind as a calm lake. Each thought or emotion that arises is like a stone that is thrown into the lake, causing ripples. And if not followed, these ripples gradually dissipate. Try to make the lake that is your mind as smooth and ripple-free as you can. As thoughts arise, let them pass. Do not follow them. Continue to count each exhale from 1 to 4. Another visualization that can be effective is to treat your mind as a child. Following a thought is like straying from the path. Imagine taking the hand of the child and firmly but gently and lovingly bringing it back to the path that is not following a thought. So that's a fundamental meditation with a couple of visualization aids to assist in the meditation process. In peace and gratitude, Namaste. Join us next week. We've got a great show lined up for you. Our guest will be Gail Parker.
In Yoga News, I will discuss the organization Yoga Gives Back, and the Food for Thought will discuss my favorite little microorganisms, probiotics.
I will discuss Ujjayi Pranayama and present another meditation technique, and we'll break down the pose Virabhadrasana 2. Thank you all for joining us. Please join us next week. Until then, namaste.
Namaste.